I don't know why they didn't call him 2 hours ago.
Right.
He was probably calling the Israeli minister or just hearing, so he was probably busy.
Or lining up the next resolution supporting the genocide.
Exactly.
Jess, you?
He's talking. Or I think a bunch of us are.
Hi, Senator Franken, this is Alana. We're at you on speakerphone in our conference room with some activists here who would like to share their thoughts with you. So.
All right. I appreciate hearing from you, and certainly respect your right to protest and your passion.
Senator Franken, people in this community have been trying to meet with you to talk to you about the campaign of genocide that Israel is carrying out in Gaza. And you have refused to meet with community members, instead having aides meet with us in your offices. So we came to the campaign headquarters in hopes we could speak to you directly. I guess the telephone will have to do for today. We are outraged.
I'm in Washington. You understand? We
are outraged at the crimes that Israel has committed. We're outraged at the endless U.S. support for those crimes, and especially at your role, as the Senator of Minnesota, where most people do not support what Israel is doing, not only continuously towing the line, but in fact sponsoring resolutions supporting the campaign against Gaza. We are here today because we need you to switch sides. We need you to make a change. We need you to make a public statement, and we need you to denounce the criminal genocide that's being carried out by Israel every day. Are you willing to do that?
Look, when it comes to the conflict in Gaza, I want it to end as quickly as possible. The loss of life is horrific, and I would, would love there to be a ceasefire. You and I are not going to agree on your characterization of what's going on there.
Our tax dollars are funding those rockets that are killing children, that are bombing hospitals, that are bombing schools, that are bombing UN refugee centers. That is our tax dollars at work.
That's right.
Tax dollars that you authorized to send there, and then to top it off, you sponsored, not just signed on. The signing on to that resolution was horrific enough. Never mind sponsoring a resolution in support of killing children in Gaza. They have nowhere to go. These people have not done anything to deserve what's coming from Israel. And the fact that you can sponsor the killing of children boggles my mind. I don't know how you can sleep at night. I can't sleep at night knowing that my tax dollars are being used in such a way that I am helping to support this genocide and the atrocities that are going on in Gaza.
Exactly.
Senator,
what's your answer? Do you have an answer?
How do you justify the bombings that are being done in our name, with our support, and our tax dollars?
With your support. How do you feel about that?
What our dollars are doing is supporting the Iron Dome. That's what our dollars are going directly to.
$3 billion a year just for the Iron Dome?
How much money is going to protect Palestinian civilians?
Well, when it comes to the conflict here, that's what our dollars are doing, and those are knocking down about 85% of the rockets that are coming from Gaza. And
Senator Franken.
And why are there rockets from Gaza? Because the Israelis are starving out the Palestinians. The siege keeps families at below subsistence level. The apartheid state, people have a right to fight back.
Senator Franken, do Palestinians have a right to self-defense?
Look, I believe in a two-state solution. I would love nothing more than there to be a lasting peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians. And I think the way toward that is a negotiated two-state solution.
Senator Franken, in the resolution, in Resolution 498, it calls on Mahmoud Abbas to dissolve his unity government. Now, I'm wondering if you can, how do you reconcile that with the fact that the unity government was, in process, Hamas recognized Israel. They agreed to the quartet's terms, and then, you say the resolution says that these...
Hamas did not recognize Israel's right.
They agreed to the terms of they agreed to the quartet's terms, recognition of Israel, implicitly doing so by joining the unity government. Now, why would you call on why would you call for the dissolution of that? You know, that was a step towards peace.
I think we disagree on your characterization.
In the last 3 weeks, the campaign by Israel has resulted in the theft of another 44% of the Gaza Strip. 44% of the most densely populated place on earth. There is no safe place for anyone in Gaza to be, thanks to the endless aerial bombardment and now ground invasion by Israel. This is unacceptable. You have to know that your constituents in Minnesota are not okay with this. I have been out from the farmers markets to the streets of Minneapolis and St. Paul talking to people, and everyone cannot believe that you, Al Franken, who has portrayed himself as a progressive, would ignore the extreme imbalance of power, the extreme crisis, humanitarian crisis that's being caused. How can you ignore that? How can you talk to us about iron domes and so-called Israeli self-defense when more than 1,300 Gazans have died in the last few weeks? How can you explain, how can you reconcile your image that you portray yourself to be in Minnesota with what your constituents want and believe, which is we don't just need a ceasefire, we need an end to Israel's attacks.
Senator, there are a few other people in the room here I'd ask you to hear from, and the police have asked us, they lost an officer today and are in the middle of a manhunt, and so they also would like to get back to that manhunt. So I thought maybe we should hear from a couple of the other people in the room if they had some thoughts. There, we got a few more people if you could hear those. And
Okay, absolutely. Go ahead.
I think everyone who wants to will speak.
All right, well,
I guess, can I just...
they're going to check the other one.
Can I ask a quick question?
It'll be real quick. Go ahead.
Sure. Can you comment on the Israeli crackdown in the West Bank that preceded this entire escalation, the rearresting of prisoners formerly exchanged in the Gilad Shalit deal, the killing of at least 6 Palestinians? Do you not consider that an escalation?
Well, look, the history of this is that those rockets preceded that, were preceding that, and that was a response to these 3 teenagers being killed.
There were attacks from Israelis on Palestinians the week before the 3 Israelis were kidnapped. They just chose those 3 things to go in and try and decimate the Palestinians. I mean, you can argue any starting point. There are so many things going on. They just chose that to try and disrupt the unity government.
all right, we have one new person in the room, and then we've been, we're just trying to move this along so the officers can get back to their work, and if there's not...
Hi, Senator. My name is Tariq Rasuli. I was born and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota. My mom was born in a refugee camp in Lebanon. Her family had to flee the country in 1948 because of the Intifada. My dad was from Iraq. I was a huge fan of yours. I have all your books. My favorite was Lying Liars and the Lying Liars Who Tell Them. You actually signed it for me at a state fair. I don't know what happened after you got elected. I don't know who's in your pockets, and I don't know how you can become one of those lying liars and the lying liars who tell those lies. I just don't know how you can sit there on the other end of the phone and just spout non-stop bullshit when you know in your heart the person that you used to be before you were the senator, you felt differently. And that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Senator. I think we'll let these officers get back to the work that they need to do on this, serious
Senator Franken,
situation.
I'm a member of the media.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Franken, see,